You know, in today's automotive landscape, cars today are just brimming full of luxury, technology, and premium features, which is great if you're a consumer and you want all that stuff. The other downside, however, is cars have just become damn expensive over the last few years, which just brings me to the latest model from Hyundai that's designed to appeal to a buyer that, again, doesn't want to spend too much money because you're on a budget, but you also don't want to buy a car that constantly feels like you cheaped out, and this is exactly where the 2021 Hyundai Venue fits in. Now, this is the newest entry-level subcompact SUV from Hyundai. It goes head-to-head with cars like the Nissan Kicks, the Toyota CHR, and the Honda HR-V. And as you can see, unlike a lot of those vehicles, the Venue has so much character. It's an adorable little urban runabout. So if you're looking to buy a new city car like this and you want to spend under $19,000, how does this 2021 Venue stack up? Stay tuned to find out. Now, here in America, the subcompact car scene has really seen a lot of changes over the years because of SUVs. Sales of those vehicles have just dropped so significantly that Hyundai, of course, dropped the accent hatchback, Toyota is killing off the Yaris, and Honda killed off the Fit, and of course there is no more Ford Fiesta. So cars like this and the Ford EcoSport, the Nissan Kicks, they are replacing those type of vehicles. And I have to say, the Venue, when I first drove that car last year, I found it to be one of the most appealing cars. So let's see if that stands true a year after it's been on the market. Now, as you can see, the Venue has a very distinctive look to it. If you guys have seen a lot of the Hyundai family SUVs, their corporate new styling, this is going to look very familiar. It takes a lot of cues, of course, from the Palisade, from the Santa Fe, from the Kona, and the Venue is definitely something that stands out in a crowded mall parking lot, especially this Denim version that I'm showing you guys. This is the top of the line version. For $23,000 fully loaded, this is one of the least expensive new cars you can buy. The Nissan Kicks is also just as cheap. You're going to pay more for something like a Honda HR-V equipped to this level, or a Toyota CHR, or a Subaru Crosstrek. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this Venue. Now let's look at the front end, because this Denim version comes standard with full LED headlights, or there are LED low beam. You have LED daytime running lights, LED halogen headlights, or halogens for the high beams, and then there's a turn signal that's an incandescent at the top where you can see the headlight and the turn signals are separate housings. Overall, the Venue still looks really good, and Hyundai managed to sell around 19,000 of these last year. It outsold the Accent sedan, which is still available. You can see there's the corporate Hyundai grille with the Cascade waterfall style. This car comes standard, or this car here has automatic emergency braking, lane departure alert, lane keep assist, and blind spot monitoring. However, if you're looking for adaptive cruise, the Venue sadly does not offer that. Now, again, looking at the styling of this car, this Denim model is only painted in this rather attractive shade of denim for the exterior color. You also have the contrasting white mirror caps, the white roof, which sadly Hyundai doesn't offer a sunroof on this vehicle. And then you also have some white trim on the lower front skirt and some more white trim along the sides of the vehicle. The 17-inch wheels that you see on this particular one come standard. They're wrapped in 205 wood tires. Remember, all Venues are just front-wheel drive. Hyundai does not offer all-wheel drive. You need to go to a Kona if you guys want all-wheel drive. But as you can see, looking from this angle, you can really tell how small the Venue is. At 159 inches long, this is about 2 inches shorter than a Honda Fit. However, it's about 2 inches wider and 2 inches taller, which gives it a more substantial look versus something, you know, like a subcompact car, the old previous generation Accent hatchback. But still, you can't deny just how cute and adorable this car looks from every angle. I really like the white contrasting roof. This car, considering the price, really does attract a lot of attention. It's almost like a Mini Cooper or Mini Countryman, but much more affordable and, of course, much more reliable. Now, at the back, you can really see the mini styling cues back here. With these squared off taillights. They are just kind of an incandescent design with some LED accents. Your reverse lights are down at the bottom, and then you can see the Denim model gives you the white badging here for the Venue badge and some more white trim on the rear bumper. And then opening up the cargo area, because this is an affordable car, there is no power liftgate, which in this segment it's pretty hard to find. But looking at the cargo space, you get around 19 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold down those second row seats and expands to around 32 cubic feet of space. I actually have a Porsche Macan that I'm testing at the same time, and this Venue has more cargo space with the seats up versus the Porsche. So with a starting price of under $20,000, there's only so much you can reasonably expect for a car, especially when you look at the interior. And I have to say, I am very impressed with the overall space of this car, and this Denim model gives you a lot of premium touches that I wasn't really expecting to find in this segment. But as you can see, that blue exterior is complemented by a blue interior as well. It's got a two-tone combination. These seats are unique to the denim with the leatherette, the contrasting stitching and piping, the cloth inserts with this interesting pattern. It's a very nice looking design, and you also have 3-level heated seats. Was not expect to find that in something like this. I also like the way the door panel looks. You have soft touch leather right there with stitching, and a lot of the blue panels make it look a lot more upscale than this car's price would suggest. When I shut the door actually has a relatively solid sounding thunk. So again, great first impressions for a car that is very inexpensive to buy. Now here's the key fob for the car. Most of the SEL or the SEL and up trims will come with Hyundai's smart key access system with push button start. It also has remote start on the fob. So very nice. You'll have access, of course, to Hyundai's BlueLink telematics system. The button to fire up the engine is over here. And you can see the gauges look pretty nice. They are very traditional. There is a very small helper screen right here, which is a monochromatic non-color LCD display. You can see that's where they're saving a little bit of cost there. The speedometer is also interesting because if you look at here, it goes up in increments of 10, but then over here past 40, it goes up in increments of 20. So it kind of makes the car appear like it accelerates faster versus what it actually is doing when you're driving this, or you can also just stare at the digital speed. You can adjust that center screen by pushing this button here on the steering wheel. You can go into your settings, go into your driver assistance, whatnot. So very nice looking display, although you can see Hyundai cutting corners a little bit there with the fact that that's not a color display. The materials on the door panel are also hard touch plastic, which didn't really surprise me. At least it's a nice high quality feeling plastic. The window switches also have a tactile, nice satisfying click. The driver window is automatic up and down, and that's the only window that has the auto function. Everything else is just a manual, or you have to hold the button. You can't actually just do a one touch feature. The steering wheel itself is manual tilt and telescoping, and it offers a pretty good amount of adjustability. I also love how they put this contrasting white stitching on it. It really gives it an upscale look and feel, which is nice. You have a lot of buttons here for the controls. Lane keep assist is included on this car, but if you're looking for adaptive cruise, Hyundai does not offer that, which doesn't surprise me at this price point. No heated wheel, which again, you can't expect that at this price point. The dashboard is also hard touch plastic, but it's got a really nice durable rubberized texture on it, which makes it look nice. I like the storage over here. This 8-inch touchscreen is standard, which is nice. It even includes embedded factory nav when you guys go for the Denim model. So that's pretty impressive that you have factory nav. Most cars like this don't offer factory nav. Instead, you just, Hyundai or the manufacturer will just direct you to Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, which this car also has. You can see it has the latest version of Hyundai's BlueLink. There's what the radio display looks like. When you go to that, you can see it has a really interesting design to it. And then the CarPlay, this is what you're most interested in. This 8-inch screen, like I said earlier, is standard. It's vibrant, it's easy to use, it looks good, and you don't even have to go for the higher trim to get this size of display, which is nice. When I put the car into reverse, you can see there is a backup camera. It has distance and trajectory, which is nice. No parking sensors. You don't really need that in something that's this small. No 360 camera, but the backup camera is standard, which is nice. Down here, you can see hard buttons, volume knob, tuning knob, and then single zone automatic climate control, which gives you this nice little readout here in a monochromatic display. No dual zone is available, and you have a USB port, 2 of them here. No wireless phone charging, which would have been nice. This car actually looks like they could have easily added wireless phone charging there. This is a little bit small. You can see my iPhone 12 Pro Max takes up the entire area. This controls the IVT transmission, CVT. It's a very traditional look. You have a drive mode selector here that cycles between normal, sport, and snow. Snow mode is just going to adjust the traction control and the transmission programming and throttle response. There's no all-wheel drive, like I said, and then earlier I said 3-level heated seats, which is nice. Some buttons here that look like they could be for a heated wheel in other markets, but not in the US market. Nice big cup holders here. Traditional pull style handbrake, which is great. And then open this up, you can see decent amount of storage. I like how this is padded in that simulated leather, which is nice. And then the glove box, you can see it just kind of cheaply falls. It's a little bit on the small side, but again, Hyundai does a very good job at hiding the economy car roots in this car, which is nice. The seats are manual, 6-way on the driver's side, just a 4-way on the passenger, and then no sunroof, as you can see, is available, but there is some nice map lights over here, although it's not LED, which again, you can't really expect that at this price point. Now, unlike some of the other subcompacts in this segment, the Venue will also surprise you when you get into the back seat because of that square shape. The back seat itself has a surprising amount of room, especially for a lot of those taller folks. Now, getting back here, you can see at 5'7", I have plenty of space to stretch about in here, and you can see there's a lot of headroom because there is a lack of sunroof, and like I said earlier, this is a box. But shutting the door, you can see Hyundai says there's around 34.5 inches of legroom back here. 34.5 is a good amount considering this car is only 159 inches long on the outside. You can see in terms of space, there's good foot space underneath here. The floor is not completely flat. It should be considering there's no rear drive shaft, so I'm surprised about that. No rear seat air vents or USB ports. Remember, this car is a very inexpensive car, and that reflects in the interior materials back here. But you have high quality switchgear. You have some nice faux leather stitching on the door panel here. And then I also really love the seat pattern on the Denim model with this blue leatherettes, the blue cloth. I would like to see Hyundai add an armrest here. That would be nice. But you can see plenty of room to stretch about. So if you actually need to carry, adults back here, as long as they're under 6 feet, the Venue can definitely accommodate that. Now, when you look underneath the hood, this is where the Venue will remind you of its economy car roots, because Hyundai only offers it with one engine, a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that doesn't even have direct injection. And the numbers are pretty modest, 121 horsepower and 113 pound-feet of torque. This engine is essentially the same 1.6 liter turbo that you find on the Kona, minus the turbo part of it. So I really wish that Hyundai would consider offering the turbo back onto the Venue, perhaps offering something like a Venue N line or a Venue N with over 200 horsepower. That would certainly be interesting. Your only transmission choice is a CVT. Hyundai calls it an IVT, or intelligent variable transmission. They did drop the 6-speed manual that was offered last year due to a lack of sales. I'm not surprised. People nowadays just buy cars with automatics. And all Venues are only front-wheel drive. Hyundai does not offer all-wheel drive on this. They will gladly sell you a Kona if you want all-wheel drive. Fuel economy is also pretty good because it's also such a lightweight vehicle at 30 in the city, 33 on the highway. This Venue here weighs in at around 2,600 pounds, so it weighs the same as something like a Honda Fit or a Ford Fiesta. So it's been a while since I drove Hyundai's least expensive new car in America. The first time Hyundai actually flew me out to Australia to drive a right-hand drive version, which was a really cool experience. And then the second time I was in Miami Beach, where they had media fly the US spec cars. But this is the first time that I'm driving it back in my home area. So it's been giving me a new perspective on the car since I've been able to actually live with it. And you know what? In my line of work, I can get pretty caught up in driving all the fancy, expensive, super fast sports cars, SUVs, supercars. So to get back into something like this is a subtle, reminder to bring myself back down to earth. This is the type of car that the majority of Americans are more likely to purchase. Its starting price at under $20,000 is just unheard of in today's market, especially with people paying, mid $30,000 to $40,000 for the average new car transaction price. And the Venue is one of those cars that, like I said earlier, constantly feels like you spent more money than you did. I mean, this is a car that if you live in urban environments, you need something that's small, that's easy to park, that's affordable to fill up, affordable for insurance, just cheap to drive. That's what the subcompact car segment's always been, but as you guys know, subcompact cars have really been falling in America in terms of sales. I mean, there was a time where, Honda and Toyota used to sell almost 100,000 of the Fits and Yaris cars, and they just simply don't do that anymore. Same thing with Hyundai with the Accent. But this is a replacement for the Hyundai Accent, and you get a sense that this definitely shares something with the Accent, but only really when you start pushing it hard that you notice its economy car roots. Because yes, the engine is buzzy, it's slow, it only offers 121 horsepower. I'd love to see Hyundai strap a turbo to this 1.6. They already do that in some other cars and call it a Venue N or N line or something. But that's not the point of something like this. This car at $23,000, when you're driving it just in urban environments and you're just cruising down the road, it's got a really good ride quality, even though we've got a twist beam semi-independent rear. It's got amazing visibility. It's got active lane keep assist, which is standard. The car is actually keeping me in the lane right now. It doesn't offer adaptive cruise, but you do have automatic emergency braking. You've got blind spot monitoring, which is lovely. It's standard if you guys go for the SEL trims and up. And you just have this open and airy feeling cabin that people love about cars like this. It's a box on wheels. It's so small on the outside, yet you have so much space on the inside, which is wonderful. But the one thing I do hear with, the boxy shape, there is a fair amount of wind noise in this car. I mean, it's a box, you don't expect that. But unlike, a Hyundai Accent, which, you sit low to the ground and you feel like you're driving an economy car, a penalty box, this definitely has a much better feeling on the road. You feel like you're sitting up higher. You feel like you're in a safer, more substantial vehicle. Yeah, that is pretty noisy. That is one of the noisiest engines I've heard in a long time. But you know what? It's matched with a CVT, an IVT that is very responsive. It mimics shifts, which does hurt the 0 to 60 times. Hyundai says it's probably around 9 seconds to 60. That feels about right. You're not gonna wanna push this car in terms of acceleration. So on the highway, you're gonna be wanting for more power. But around town, this feels pretty good. And what also feels pretty good is the handling of this car. It's got really good steering. The suspension is very, very soft, but it also doesn't feel like it has too much in the way of body lean. It just feels like a much more substantial car, and I think that's the point of buying something like this. Obviously you want it to be affordable, but you don't want to feel like you're driving a cheap car all the time, and that's where the Venue really shines. It is a car that makes me feel like I spent more. It also has a lot of character. I mean, I love this Denim edition model with the white contrasting roof, the exclusive blue color, even this interior with its blue interior, the contrast stitching and piping, the mix of materials with the leatherette, the soft tex. Even though it's not luxurious in here, you have a plethora of standard equipment. Even the leather wrapped wheel feels good. I've got heated seats, which is nice. The seats are also comfortable and supportive. The seats adjust in 6 different ways. It's a manual adjust seat. So the heated seats was unexpected. The safety tech was unexpected. The 8-inch touchscreen is unexpected. It's standard. And you also have this very responsive transmission. As long as you keep the revs below 5, it does have plenty of power for most drivers, and I think that's really an important selling feature when you're looking at something like this. Now, in terms of fuel economy, the Venue is rated at 30 in the city and 33 on the highway. In my week's worth of testing around town, I got 29 miles to the gallon, so slightly below the EPA's numbers. On the highway, I got it up to around 35 miles to the gallon, so not good, but not excellent. I was hoping I'd get closer to 40 mpg. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with a box on wheels with very little power like this, you're not going to be able to get that kind of MPG just because it is a box on wheels. It's not very aerodynamic. It's just the laws of physics. But let's try just a standstill acceleration here. I'll even turn off the traction control, see if I can get the tires to spin. Nope. And yes, the engine is so buzzy, but I'm impressed. It does feel quicker than its numbers would suggest. And I like the transmission. The transmission is good. So I have very little complaints for the price of this car. I mean, yes, you can buy something faster. You could look at a Hyundai Kona and spend a little bit more. And I might recommend that, but the Venue has its own unique special character that really is going to sell this car to a lot of people. It's such a cute, adorable, urban runabout. And yes, this car does lack all-wheel drive, and that's probably something that a lot of SUV buyers are going to want. But remember, the best-selling car in this segment is the Nissan Kicks. They sell just under 60,000 units every year, and that car does not offer all-wheel drive. The Venue is so light and so not powerful that you don't really miss the all-wheel drive unless you live in like an area where you constantly see a lot of snow. Then Hyundai would probably point you at the Kona, which does offer all-wheel drive for like another couple $1,000s more. But if you're looking for affordable transportation, this is one of the best ones. It is, without a doubt, a unique, cool car that I think Hyundai could improve even more. And it's going to increase the price a little bit more, but I think they should consider that because it will expand the appeal of the car to a few more buyers. So as buyers continue to gravitate more toward SUVs, you can really start to expect the segment of subcompact, affordable, taller SUVs like this to really start heating up. The Venue managed to sell just under 20,000 units last year, which was their first full year of sales. The top seller, like I mentioned earlier, is the Nissan Kicks in this segment, which sells at around 50,000 or 60,000 units. This segment in general is growing, and I really like what the Venue offers. Compared to the Kicks, it has a much more unique style to it. It has a little bit more character. It's about the same price as that vehicle, and compared to the Ford EcoSport, this is less expensive and a lot cooler looking and has a much better build quality and driving dynamics versus that, and of course the Chevrolet Trax, which also you could compare that to this vehicle here. But really, at a starting price at $18,750, there is so much to like with this car. I imagine most of you are going to take the option and go up to an SEL trim. That's going to be around $2,000 more for around $21,000 or just under $21,000. That'll include features like a leather-wrapped wheel, heated seats. You'll get the automatic lane keep assist, automatic braking. Those features are, again, pretty desirable in the segment. So for this one here, the Denim, which includes the special paint, the special interior, the LED headlights, that's actually available if you guys want the SEL for a premium package. Stickers at around $23,235, which is a pretty amazing steal considering the average new car price today is around $35,000 to $40,000. For something like this with the features it gives you, that 8-inch touchscreen, the decent stereo, the roomy cabin, there is a lot to like about this car, but really, unless you're planning to take this car on so many highway trips, I probably wouldn't recommend it because it doesn't have enough power. It's also a little bit noisy, but if you plan to stay around town, this is gonna get amazing gas mileage. It'll be easy to park, easy to drive, easy to live with, and it'll also get really good gas mileage. So if you're in the market for something like this and you want an inexpensive car that doesn't feel like a cheap car, be sure to put the 2021 Hyundai Venue at the very top of your list. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2021 Hyundai Venue Denim. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.